Love it. Okay. So let's get started. Actually, before we get started, let's go over a few housekeeping things. We started off this conference with your microphones muted and your cameras off. We're doing that so in case you get interrupted or the atmosphere you're in is kind of noisy, it's not going to be distracting for all the other participants. And we do realize that sometimes people walk into your office and interrupt. And so we actually are recording this session. And early next week, you will get a copy of one of the video recordings that we have you will receive in your email, and you'll be able to review it whenever you want, and you'll be able to forward it to other members of your staff who may need to see these new features. Okay, since everybody's muted, if you have a question, you're going to use the chat button in the bottom right-hand corner. Chris is on the call in order to be able to answer those questions as they come in. We can also review questions at the end, so be prepared to do that. Let's go ahead and meet the instructors. My name is Leslie Civic-Troth. I am the Director of Training Development here at Insignia Group. I've actually been with the company almost 17 years. It'll be 17 years and 2 months. And I began as a customer service representative, meaning that I was the person that you talked to with questions, and I was the person that trained you on your current system. So if you've been on with us for 10 plus years, you probably have talked to me at one point in time via either email or phone call. Also on the call, we have Chris. Chris, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hi, so my name is Chris Thornton. I am the Customer Success Coordinator. I have almost 9 years experience with Insignia Group, and I also began here as a customer care representative. So lovely that I was trained under Leslie and have assisted any of the newer dealers that have signed on in the past 9 years. So I'm going to let Leslie take over and enjoy the show, guys.
Thank you, Chris. Okay, we've got a lot of things to cover today. I am going to keep an eye on the time. I know everybody has important things to do at their jobs. We've changed a lot of the components of the system. It's a redesign. All the functionality that you currently expect is still in here. It's just things have been moved around and maybe combined to make your life easier. So as you can see on the slide, you can kind of see everything that we're going to be talking about. And once we're done with that, we are going to recap and take some time to answer questions. Now, your retail side of the system, it is not changing right now. It's not. Your customers will still go to the same place, they'll still place orders and look for vehicles and accessories the way they do now. Your salespeople will still help your customers the way they do now, whether they submit an order or they save and close the order and management submits it. That portion is still the same. It's once everybody logs into their dashboard where things will start changing. So currently, when you log into your dashboard on the current system that you have today, you get a nice little pie chart where you can see your missed opportunities, and you kind of get the list of your salespeople and what they're doing. We've expanded on that. So on Sunday, if you work Sunday, or on Monday, when you log into your system, you're going to see this brand new dashboard. The dashboard takes in consideration things that are month to date. Now, this page here is the dashboard. Everything else is not. This is just the month to date. So this is February 1st through February 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th. As your orders are placed and as people are using the system, these numbers will expand. Come March 1st, you'll start back at 0. And then as you go through that month, it will expand. If you ever want to see more details regarding this or past months, that's where you run the individual reports to get to that. Now, there's a lot of cards on here, and you can pick and choose what you want to see based upon your user permissions. You'll hear me talk a lot about permissions. Permissions are very important in this system. If you're not allowed, if you don't have permission to see profits, then you will not see profits. That's not going to be an option for you to select. This is an admin's version of this, so you can see everything, anything and everything that you want. So you'll see I touched the little cog wheel and it gave me my dashboard settings. This allows me to turn on and off what I want to see. So if I don't want to see accessories missing value, I just slide it. I just click it, it slides off. And if you notice, there was a little flash on my screen after it was done. That means the page was adjusting itself. When you're completely done, you hit the done button down here at the bottom. Behind this pop-up is a little red highlights box. That highlights box allows you to see 3 numbers that are important to you. So if you want to see submitted sales, total profit, and maybe submitted orders, you click on those, you hit done, and it adjusts this highlights box for you. This is your most important at-a-glance information that you want to see on how well your program's working. Down below that, you have all these wonderful cards. You can hide any card that you don't want to see. You can just make it disappear. You can bring it back by that cogwheel. Clicking on them will also take you to that specific report. So like staff performance will take you to the staff performance report. If you wanted to stay on the dashboard, yet you don't want to have it, so you can minimize it if you just want to just see the heading and expand it when you want to. Submitted orders breakdown, clicking on any one of those will take you directly to your orders. And in here, you can just have at-a-glance information on how the status of your orders are coming. Accessory name or number. Now, I hope you heard me correctly because I said accessory name. You can now search by accessory name on this system. You don't have to know the part number. You can simply type in an accessory name. And if you need it, the asterisk is a wildcard, and that takes place of like missing numbers or words. You hit search, and you're taken to the accessory search information where you see every item on your system that begins or that has bed in it, I should say. And if you see, there's actually 57 pages worth. So if I want to narrow that down and even further, I can hit cap. And now I only see 2 pages of bed caps. So it helps you eliminate the big long list and you're having to scroll through and finding everything. Now I am going to go back to the dashboard because we weren't quite done there yet. Okay. Create a new accessory. If you have access to Part Builder on your current system, you will have access to Accessory Builder on here. It's essentially the same thing. It's just in a little different place and it's called something different. Then you have your orders. This will just be a quick little snapshot. Your complete catalog card. You will only see this if you actually haven't completed your catalog setup. If you've completed your catalog setup, AKA your catalog profile, you won't even see this card. It's just there as a reminder. Vehicle recaps. This will show you your best sellers by views and sales, new releases. So you'll get to see the last 5 vehicles released. Obviously, you're not going to see a Chevrolet if you're a Ford dealership. It's just going to be based upon whatever manufacturers you work with. New configurators. That's brand spanking new. We've had a lot of dealerships request the ability to be able to see when a new configurator comes out, AKA builder. So you can have your accessories that you can put on the vehicle, show the customer what it's going to look like on the retail side of the system. You now get a list of the most recent ones. Accessories recap is essentially the same thing. Your best-selling accessories, your new releases. No matter what permissions you have, whether you're a salesperson or an accessories manager or an administrator, you will always have this "We're here to help" box. It includes a link to our help center as well as the customer care email address. Okay, now that we've showed you the new and improved dashboard, let's go to orders. Currently in your system, you have orders, pending orders. And then if part of your sales process is have the management team approve the orders and submit them, you have to go to the still shopping report. That's all combined into one now. It's all under orders. So what you have here is the ability to select your date range and order status. So you can search for acknowledged orders, you can search for fulfilled orders, you can search for canceled orders, you can do all that. You also have the ability to search by first or last name, VIN number, stock number, so you don't have to go through all the orders. For example, let me select one here. I'm going to select Rogers. So I put in Rogers, hit my little search button, and now I get all the orders for anybody, in this case with the last name Rogers. Now you can see that these are color coded. Each color represents a different thing. That's to help you, if you're looking at your list, to have at-a-glance information very quickly to determine what the status of those orders are. Now, if you are approving orders before they're being submitted, you would find your shopping orders. You would hit the pencil icon. Throughout this system, you will see the pencil icon. The pencil icon always means edit. If you're having a problem with your profits, you'll get a little message up here. Now, I will let you know, this is my training site. So we have played with numbers for the last few weeks. So my settings might be a little off. So don't be scared if I have a negative profit. That does not mean you're going to have a negative profit. Okay. So you have the ability to submit the order for the customer from here. You just hit the submit button. You can print the order if you need to. And actually, this is kind of cool. You can actually print 2 different copies from this side of the system. The retail side will still show the normal printouts. On this side of the system, you can print 2 different copies. You can print one for the customer, and you can print one for F&I. They show different information depending on which one you're printing. And if for some reason you decide that you need to add a discount to an order, say the sales manager is doing it for customer service reasons, even though we don't recommend discounting, you can actually add a discount, either a percentage or an amount. And I'm going to give them $15 off. And you just hit apply. You'll get a success message. And you'll see that the discount was added. This is your discount column. You can also delete, if you have permissions, remember this is all based upon permissions. If you have permission, you can also delete an accessory from the order. Once again, you'll see lots of little pencil icons. You can edit the order summary. Perfect use is if one of your team just forgets to tie themselves to their customer. So you can edit it and put the right salesperson with the right person or right customer. You can also cancel the order if you need to. Overall, vehicle information, hitting the edit will allow you to change the stock and the VIN number. As you can see, there's none listed on this particular order, so I could hit edit and change those. Your activity keeps track of everything that's going on. So you'll have the date, time, who made the change, and what was changed. So as you can see in my nice long list here, I've got applied discounts on which accessory and when it was done. Add a note, that's where you would say parts are on order, schedule appointment for install, customer picked it up at the counter, and whatever you need to do. And it'll keep track of it in here. There's your customer information. The edit icons here, perfect example would be if they left off an O in Yahoo. For their email address. And then you get your profit report. Like I said, don't be scared of these numbers. This is just my demo site. All right, I'm going to go ahead and submit this order for the customer. It's going to ask me to put a note in if I want. It's not required. And you can select who you want to send it to. Notifications group is essentially that email field in your contact tab right now in the catalog profile that lists all the email addresses who's receiving copies of the orders. We also allow you to see who's on that list from in here, just so you can confirm if everybody should actually be on there. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and acknowledge this as well because there's something I want to show you on the orders list. Okay, so we're going to go back to orders here. All right, so now we still have my Rogers I can reset it if I want to. I'm not going to. So say you've had a lot of orders come in and you received all the accessories and they've all been installed and all the orders have been acknowledged and you're having a really great time because it's been really, really busy at your dealership. You can actually bulk fulfill orders. They have to be in the acknowledged stage though. You cannot bulk fulfill a shopping order. It's just not going to happen. So to bulk fulfill, if you're going to bulk fulfill more than one, you click on that. If you're going to bulk fulfill everything on that list. If you're only going to do onesie twosies, you can simply just click on the circle. And when you do that, you'll notice it says fulfill one order. You can click on that, confirm that you want to fulfill it, and get your green confirmation. So now you'll see that that order has been fulfilled. So to hopefully streamline your order processing process, you can bulk fulfill orders now that are acknowledged. If you try to bulk fulfill one that's not been acknowledged, it will give you a message going, you have to acknowledge it first. Okay, customers. Currently in your current system, you have all your users, your customers and your employees are all in the same long list. And if you're registering each and every customer, that list can get pretty long. So what we've actually done is we've actually split them apart so that you can do things with your employees differently than you do with your customers. So they're now in two separate places. There's always filters to narrow down your results. So if you want to look at everybody for year to date, you can do that. You can also look for specific customers using your table. So you can look for young and you'll get that. You can still export your customer list if you want to market to them. So you still have that capability. And one more thing, you can actually filter by information. So you can filter by last name, you can filter by registration date. You can do that if you want to look for certain criteria. You can also add new customers for this side of the site. Now your salespeople are going to typically register the customers from the retail side of the site. Occasionally, maybe you get a phone call, customers interested in stopping by. You can pre-register them through this side of the system. And that way they're already set up when it comes time to actually present accessories for them. All right, moving on. Don't forget to put your questions in the comment section so we can get to them. Okay, accessory search. We were here earlier. I had typed in bed and got the little thing here. I'm actually going to reset this. I reset it and now I'm seeing all the accessories. Or I thought I was. Okay, so I'm actually going to go and select a year, make, model, and submodel. Okay, now I'm seeing all the accessories. And here I am, I'm seeing 19 pages of accessories. And say I want to change pricing or feature or hide something. You still have that capability. We just moved it we kind of reformatted it to make it easier for you. So you still have the same capabilities as you do now. You can change the exact same information as you can now. And then you can go into featured and hidden, and you can feature an accessory globally, or you can feature it on this vehicle. You can hide it globally, hide it on this vehicle. Essentially everything that you do right this second. I know there's a question, and Chris will probably answer it in the chat. If not, and we'll review it at the end as well if we need further discussion on that. You can upload your images like you do now. And you can see the fitments that the vehicle fits on. Now, one cool feature about this is that when you go to your summary, you actually have a change history now. On your current system, you can see that a change was made by somebody using whatever login. Okay? In this system, you now have the accountability. You not only see who made the change, and when it happened, but you'll also see what was changed. So I'm actually going to show you this as a little, I actually want to go back. Oh, well, you know what? Back to search. I'm going to pick an accessory, and I'm actually going to change like the labor time. I'm going to put the labor time at 2. I'm going to hit save because that's all I want to do with it. Hit my summary and then go to change history. And now you can see that I made the change and what was changed. Now this does say Insignia super user because it's my access. If it was one of your employees making the change, it would actually have their name there. Just be mindful of that. Okay, so featured and hidden work the same way as it always has. They have their own reports. The only difference in this is that right now, your featured and hidden reports, you have globally at the top, vehicle specific at the bottom. We changed it so that there are 2 separate tabs just to make it easier so you don't have to keep scrolling. You can export it if you want to, and to add it back to unfeature it or unhide it, you just click the trash can and it will do that. It will always ask you to confirm that you want to do that just to make sure, and then it will give you a confirmation once you do. Okay, Chris, should we answer a question now or are we good?
So one of the mentions was about we do have at least one admin in the call today that's a JLR customer.
Okay.
If you could let them know about any differences that it may show for their system.
Okay. The one difference that'll show for your system is your customers and your employees. Since you have SSO, your customers and your employees, you can, those features, even though you'll be able to see them, you won't be able to use them because everything through JLR is controlled by SSO. So you still need to do what you do currently to sell accessories to your customers, and you still need to do what you currently do for your employees through SSO. Okay. One other thing.
From Scott Witt, will there ever be an option to submit orders without registering someone? Most of the time, we're already getting them registered for multiple things. When they purchase a car, most dealers can mark it directly from their DMS, so exporting a list isn't very useful to me personally.
That is actually a very good question, and Chris is going to take that and send that over to our development team. You've heard me mention that several of these things have come based upon feedback. So we use that to enhance the system. Okay, some of you have access to Part Builder. Part Builder in here is now Accessory Builder, and you get to it through your accessory search. So it's going to take a second because it's loading all my vehicles. So depending on how many vehicles you're seeing on the site may depend on how long this takes to load, as well as your internet connection, of course. Just like in Part Builder currently, you take your brand. I'm just going to call it TV just because, yeah, this is just a demonstration. And you put in your brand, your accessory number, your product type. There's a huge drop-down list. You can even actually type in here and narrow that list down if you wanted to. Add in your descriptions, your pricing, upload your image, just like you do in Part Builder. And your vehicle fitment selection is a lot better. Currently in Part Builder, you have to hit plus signs to expand it, check boxes to add it. And now we have this very cool search feature that allows you to gather a group of vehicles at the same time. So for example, I know this part fits 23 to 24 GMCs, all of them, just fits all of them. And you hit apply and it'll give you the choice of all the GMCs, 152 of them to be exact. You can put it on onesies, twosies just by clicking the slider. You remove them the same way. Or you can add them to all 152 vehicles at the all at one time. So there you go. Now they're all added at one time. And if you want to remove them, you simply select the slider and move it. So I love the capabilities of that. It just makes it so much easier. And just like with Legacy, you have to, you review it and then you have to acknowledge the disclaimer. I'm actually not going to submit this one. Okay. Now let's talk about some reports. We've streamlined these reports. We've added visual effects to these reports. We have combined several of the reports, so you don't have this long list of things and you don't necessarily have to go to several different reports to pull the information you're looking for. So this is your sales report. This combines the sales report with your order history. And you got your date range. So if you want to see last year's, you can custom date range it. You can do year to date. You get a nice little bar graph that allows you to track the progress of the sales and see the dips in the month and everything else. You've got your status breakdown that gives you the percentage of the status of all the orders. And below it, you'll get your little key that'll show the breakout. Red boxes are always quick at-a-glance boxes. That's where you can just get highlighted information without going into a lot of detail. So that you'll see in just about every report. And then you get your order history and what the status of those orders are. You can click on an order number and get to the order itself. The staff performance report combines your accessories progress report with your sales staff performance report. So it allows you to track both in one place. You've got you can pick your date range as you have been. You get your ranked users. So this is month to date. So this is the ranked users month to date. If I did year to date, it may shuffle. You get your status by sales, or sales by status, I should say, and your key to the bar graphs. Your quick at a glance. So total for this month, we've done almost $21,000, 9 registrations, and then you get your breakdown. Now I have a small monitor right now, so I have this plus sign. If you're on a bigger monitor, you will actually see columns for acknowledged as well in here. The plus sign actually shows me that information. So what you have here is whether your dealership pays commission off fulfilled orders, submitted orders, or acknowledged orders. This is where you go to see what commissions should be paid out to your team. You can also completely export this report. So if you need to take it and send it to your accounting people, you can do so. Profit. That's essentially the same report you have now. We've just added, a departmental breakdown and the ability to choose what department you want to look at. So if you're only interested in seeing service, then you'll only see service profit. I've got this set to all. You also get your quick, at a glance box, your highlights box, and you get your order history, looking at the profits only, not the status, just the profits. So if you see a negative profit like this one does, you can click on the order number, kind of figure out where the negative profit's coming from. Accessories. Top accessories combines your top accessories by views and your top accessories by sales reports. You select your date range, you can select your brand, your criteria. So if you want to actually look at profit, which we've added, or items sold, which we've added, you can do so. And you can even pick how many you actually want to see. Once you apply those, you get your quick at a glance. This doesn't have any aftermarket sales because I haven't run any aftermarket through this system. And then you get your sales starting with the most successful. You can always click on the column and sort it by least successful if you wanted to. Clicking on the accessory part number will take you to that accessory. Excuse me, let me get a drink here. I was about to start coughing. Adjusted accessories report replaces your pricing report. Okay, so anytime you make a change to an accessory when it involves pricing or labors or markups, overriding the retail price, that will appear in this report. and you'll get to see what it is. Now, if you want to make a lot of changes, you can export it or you could filter it. So if you only want to see the ones that include labor, that didn't work out the way I wanted it to. If you want to see ones that include 0.5, then you can put it in as 0.5. Okay, missing value. You may know that you have a missing labor time report. Missing labor time report has been enhanced. It is now called accessories missing value report. So if your accessory is missing dealer cost, parts markup, labor rates, anything that deals with pricing, it will appear in this report. It's important that you do check this, because if it's missing something like dealer cost, then it's going to show call for price. If it's missing a markup, your reportings are going to be off. So you should definitely check it. For example, this was an accessory, custom accessory I built in the webinar this morning. And you'll see that I didn't put any pricing in here. No dealer cost, no labor time, no list price. Because I don't have a list price, my customers are going to see call for price. So in order for the program to be successful, I really should have all my pricing in place. Okay, and you can export this out just like you can the missing labor time report and request assistance from customer care. They can still help you with bulk changes. New accessories report. We've actually extended this so that it shows all the new accessories in the last 30 days that have been added to the system. This does include anything you build in Accessory Builder, aka Part Builder. And as a reminder, anything you've updated in your system, orders, pricing, custom built accessories, all of that will transfer over automatically for you. You do not need to do anything. We got it taken care of. Okay, vehicles. Top vehicles combines your top vehicles by views and your top vehicles by sales reports. It essentially works the same way as the top accessories report, except it deals with vehicles. New is just like your new accessories report. It shows you the newest vehicles added to the system in the last 30 days. It does give you a market release date, which is based upon dealer feedback. We've had a lot of dealers ask us when this came out, when this vehicle was added to the system. You can check this report once a month if you want and see that it was released on this date. And that way you're just familiar and you can go in and make any maybe pricing adjustments that you might need to make. Okay, and you can always export that as well. Now we're going to move on to settings. Catalog is your catalog profile. It also combines your accessory categories. So if you have accessory categories now, it now lives here under catalog. This is where you would turn on and off your aftermarket companies. The general tab is essentially the contact info tab that's currently in catalog profile. Except we've given you more details. We've added your consultant. So if you're getting consultations from Kurt, Roger, or Brian, your consultant will be listed here. Otherwise, it's going to be information for customer care. Your contract is going to be here. So you can check to see what you're paying per month and when you started. Training. If you get training from us, it'll be listed here. Now, that does not include these webinars. We're not including the webinars, so you won't see that on here. Notifications group. This is that email field that you have in your contact tab that you put in for order notifications. This is where you can do that now. You can still bulk, you can add them one at a time, or you can bulk add them using the semicolon. The beautiful thing about it is it'll list it all here, and if you hit the trash can, it'll go away. So that person will go away, I should say. And it'll, you know, many times I've gone in there to correct the email field for people, and I've accidentally deleted the M off the next person's or the previous person's.com. So this simplifies it for you. In your catalog profile currently, you have your labor, pricing, commission tabs separated. All we've done is we've merged them into one location. So you have one location where you can see all that information and make the changes if you need to. It works the same way. Nothing has changed on how this functions besides the location. That's it. Okay. I skipped roles and permissions for a second because it makes more sense if I come to users first. Users, these are your employees. You sign them up just like you do now. You give them their user level. You give them a user role. User role is what determines what they can and cannot do on the system. So we'll go more into that in a second, because there's something that I think is awesome on this, is the fact that you can disable a user now. In your current system, you can either edit and change the password, or you can delete the user if they leave the organization. And if you delete them, it messes up the reporting. They get pulled off the orders. They don't show up on the commission reports anymore. So some of the history disappears. Now you can hit the lock icon and just disable them. And all that information will stay intact. So all your reporting will be accurate, especially if you owe this person any more commissions. So I think that's a save. I think that's a great idea. I love the fact that we've added it. Roles and permissions. This is huge. We have given you complete accountability. Ugh. We have given you complete control over what your staff can do. So what you currently have in your system, your accessory managers, your parts counter people, your sales managers, they all will transfer over, and their user levels will transfer over, and they will have what's called default permissions. And default permissions is essentially what they can do now. Okay. Once you can modify them. So if you want to change them a little bit, you can, or you can create a custom one. Now, in a previous training, I created this scheduler custom role. And essentially all they're allowed to do is schedule appointments for install. That's what they do. That's their job. And we went through all the permissions, global settings, which are your accessory pricing, your roles and permissions. It's all the global things that administrators can do is what global is. Orders is related specifically to orders. So global is everything other than orders. As you can see, there's a lot of selections to choose from. A lot of these are just read, modify, delete, or view. So each user level is going to have different criteria. For the scheduler, we gave them permission to read accessory information. They're not allowed to do anything else when it comes to accounts or settings or anything. They're just allowed to read accessory information. That's it. And then for our scheduler, we gave them permission to only do some of the orders. Like, we didn't really want them to process the orders. However, we didn't mind if they assigned staff to the orders or adjusted the contact information in case they find an error with some of the information. They get to see the details. Everything else, we told them, no, you can't do it. You have complete control over this, and you can create roles for what you need in your dealership, independent of everybody else. Now that's huge, and that's brand new. So there's bound to be a lot of questions regarding it. So once this releases on over the weekend. So what we have done is we have actually created a help center for you. It is available to you 24/7 through that link. And you can find articles on any area of this system. There's an article. And there's even articles for your sales team to succeed in selling accessories. That's under this accessory selling process thing, where they can learn everything there is about it. There's some things about, for your management team and frequently asked questions and everything else. Clicking on any one of those tiles will bring up the articles associated with that tile. Or let's take roles and permissions, for example. You know that you have questions regarding roles. Maybe you want to figure out how to add one, or you want to make sure you're doing it correctly. You can type in roles. You got your list of articles. We selected the one, and then we get to see a video about it. And then we get to see an article about it, including step-by-step instructions on how to create your own role. And I don't think there's anything else I want to say. And then it'll give you related topics to it if you need more information. All right, I know that was a lot of information in a very short amount of time. I want to go ahead and open this up for questions before we conclude. Chris, do we have any more questions?
I just wanted to make sure that we reiterate that the roles and permissions and everything, it does not work on JLR sites because of SSO.
Correct. That is correct. It does not work on JLR sites because of SSO. So, yeah, sorry about that. All right. So do we have any other questions other than that? Okay. Well, in that case, I do want to make sure that everybody remembers that this launches Sunday. So you'll see it Sunday if you're working on Sunday, or you'll see it Monday or Tuesday, whatever your next day is logging into the system. We are available to help via email, phone. If you received a email from me confirming this webinar, you also have my email address. You're welcome to reach out to me that way as well. And early next week, you will receive a copy of a video that you can share with your team as everybody gets used to this new interface. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you everyone for joining us. And we can't wait for you guys to start using it. We're so excited. Bye.
Okay. Bye, guys.